Weston, where do Bibles come from? Welcome back to Cradle Convert. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Weston.
So today we're going to talk about the origins of the Bible, where everything came together to get what we see today.
Yay!
A little bit of the history behind it. So, yeah. Going to be a lot of reading today.
Yes. We have our handy dandy computer, which Andrew is looking at presently.
Yes.
He is looking at that. We're looking at a camera and doing this. Anyways.
So, there's two canons that are there nowadays, right? For where the Bible comes from, right? So two different kind of places it comes from: the Catholic version and the Protestant version, basically. So it comes out to four different translations, like the main translations that we have nowadays and that we see. So there's for Protestants, there's the NIV, which is the New International Version, and the King James Version, right? So those are the two main ones.
Specifically, the New King James Version.
New King James, yeah, right. So we don't have a NIV to point to, but the NIV, New King James. And for Catholics, we have the New American Bible and the Revised Standard Edition. So the New American Bible is the translation that's used in the Mass. Yes. So that's what you hear every Sunday as a Catholic at Sunday Mass. Yes. But
yeah. So before we actually get into the differences, let's talk about the actual origins of the Bible. First, let's talk about the Old Testament. The Old Testament was wrote roughly between 1200 BC all the way to 100 BC, depending on who you talk to. Now, those Old Testament books actually come from the Jews. Those consist of the Torah and the Tanakh. And when we involved Catholics actually reference something called the Septuagint. Now, the Septuagint is the Greek translation of the Torah and Tanakh with the Deuterocanonical books. Now, what the Deuterocanonical books are, they're these very interesting books, and Andrew is going to show you here quick, in that separate us from the Protestants. Sometimes the Protestants refer to these as the Apocrypha, and as you can see on the screen, they are not the same.
They probably can't see that.
We were going to flash up a picture.
Yeah, that's right. And the New Testament was written between 50 AD and 100 AD.
Right. Now, basically what it comes down to is who actually has authority to say what books should and should not be in the Bible, and by whose translation we should actually go with. Now, Catholics side on the side of two councils that were back in 393 AD, which would be the Council of Hippo, and then 397 AD, which would be the Council of Carthage. At the Council of Hippo, they presented the books and started deciding what books should be in the Bible. At the Council of Carthage, they actually nailed it down and actually stated what books should be in the Bible.
Mm-hmm. So then for the Protestant side, Martin Luther was the one who started that, created his Bible. So his first edition of it, or translation, was just the New Testament, and that was in 1522 that he came about that. Then he finished it up, put the entire thing together to make the full Bible with the New Testament, Old Testament, and also the Apocrypha in 1534.
Right. Mm-hmm. Basically, Protestants believe that the full Catholic Bible was not compiled until about 1545 at the Council of Trent. Now, the Council of Trent states, I need a computer because I'm not that smart. I can't remember all of this.
You can't remember that off the top of your head?
Nope. Here we go. A list of the sacred books be inserted in this decree, lest any doubt may arise in one's mind, which are the books that received by this synod. They are set down here below. The Old Testament. The 5 books of Moses, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. I feel like doing the song.
Maybe we should have done that. Oh, man.
Should've. Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 4 books of Kings, 2 of Paralinomium, the first book of Esdras, the second which is entitled Nehemiah, Tobias, Judas, Esther, Job.
You mean Job?
Yeah, that one. The Levitical Psalter, consisting of the 150 Psalms, the Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Canticle of Canticles.
That's probably the Song of Songs.
Wisdom, Ecclesiasticus, Isaiah, Jeremiah, with Brock, Baruch. I'm awesome at
These
this.
names are really hard.
Yeah, they are. Ezekiel, Daniel, the 12 minor prophets, Osee, can you...
Different. It's a different OC.
Joel, Amos, Abdias, Jonas, Micah, Nahum, Habakkuk.
Just say them confidently. Nobody will know that you're saying
Habakkuk. Sophonias, Agesius, Zacharias, Malachias, 2 books of the Maccabees, the first and second.
A lot of these names have changed sometime throughout the years. That we see them in here today. They were known differently hundreds of years ago. So Sirach was also known as Ecclesiasticus. 1 and 2 Chronicles are also known as the...
Say it.
Paralipamian.
That's actually pretty good.
Parapalamian.
Sure.
I know my ancient Hebrew. You don't?
No.
Darn. Okay. Yeah, so... and then Ezra and Nehemiah were once before known as 1st and 2nd Esdras. And then 1st and 2nd Samuel and 1st and 2nd Kings were just Kings 1 through 4 before. So these have been changed before, and luckily makes it easier on us now.
Yes. Now, for our Protestant friends, there's actually some things that are amiss here when it comes to quoting the Bible, especially on the authority of the Bible. It's actually been quoted in Lauterbach that Luther did not actually see a Bible until he was 20 years of age. Also, he wanted to remove the books of Hebrew, James, Jude, and Revelation. Now, if the Bible wasn't fully compiled by then, how could he remove books from the Bible? Yeah,
he was actually a time traveler.
Time traveler.
He was a time wizard? What is...
Time Lord.
Time Lord? There we go, Time Lord. I should know that. I'm a nerd. So getting back to the Council of Carthage. So this is where the Bibles were, or the Bibles. The books were all put together and compiled. All the Bibles. The books of the Bible were put together. So this is a statement from that council, right? So it's saying that nothing except the canonical scriptures should be read in the church under the name of the divine scriptures. But the canonical scriptures are Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Ruth, 4 books of Kings, Paralipamian, Job, the Psalter of David, 5 books of Solomon, 12 books of the prophets, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Daniel, Ezekiel, Tobit, Judith, Esther, 2 books of Ezra, 2 books of Maccabees, and moreover the New Testament, 4 books of Gospels, the Acts of the Apostles, 13 epistles of Paul and the Apostle, 1 of the same to Hebrews, 2 of Peter, 3 of John, 1 of James, 1 Jude, and the Apocalypse.
I think your list was easier.
It was. It's because it's the ones we know now for the most... Well, some of them. There's that darn P word in there again, but...
It's my favorite one. Yes.
But anyway, so the... Yeah, go ahead and grab that.
Yep.
You found it.
I found it. So before we go, there's a lot of talk, especially from Protestant sides, that the Deuterocanonicals do not actually match up what is known, and that there's a lot of heretical things in there. I'd like to read the scripture passage for you from the Deuterocanonical of Wisdom of Solomon. And you take away your own opinions on this one. So this is Wisdom of Solomon 2, 12 through 20. Let us lie in wait for the righteous man, because he is inconvenient to us and opposes our actions. He reproaches us for sins against the law, and accuses us of sins against our training. He professes to have knowledge of God, and calls himself a child of the Lord. He became to us reproof of our thoughts. The very sight of him is a burden to us, because his manner of life is unlike that of others, and his ways are strange. We are considered by him as something base, and avoids our ways as unclean. He calls the last end of righteous happiness, and boasts that God is his Father. Let us see if his words are true, and let us test what will happen at the end of his life. For if the righteous man is God's son, he will help him, and will deliver him from the hand of his adversaries. Let us test him with insults and torture, that we may find out how gentle he is, and make trial of his forbearance. Let us condemn him to a shameful death, for according to what he says, he will be protected.
That was good.
Thanks.
Who do you think they're talking about?
I don't know.
Well, we'll let you guys figure that out. Let us know in the comments below if you know who it is we might be talking about.
Yeah.
So I've got 2 things that we're going to put down in the description, links to 2 different articles. First one is talking about the early church fathers, from 500 AD and earlier, and them talking about the Deuterocanonicals and referencing them in different things. And then the second one is a reference to the New Testament and the Deuterocanonicals. And so it's someone who found some similarities between, what they say and put them together. So he's got, just go to the links. You'll find some good stuff there. We promise you. Highly encourage that you do that, because there's some really good stuff there.
Yes.
It's by a very good Catholic apologist, and he found some good stuff.
Yes. So don't forget to like, subscribe,
comment, but most of all,
pray.